Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I am Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, here to help guide you on your burning adventures. And today I am doing a review, finally, of the Optima 1 dual burner. That's what we've got on screen here. And I have 4 tips that I'm going to be looking at because they're the only 4 I have. So we're going to be looking at those closely. And the board back here in the back, I have actually already filmed this this review, and this is all the markings I made on the board. That file got corrupt, so we're trying it again. But at least I have the information at hand, so I don't have to go through all that every single time, and that will help. So we're going to start off with the burner. This one is a dual burner that comes with 2 16-gauge cords that are very flexible, very light. They don't weigh down the pen, and there's no problem with dragging on the end. It comes with 2 of those. If you spend the $153, that includes the 2 cords, and it also comes with 2 pins. For the single burner, it would come with 1 heavy-duty cord and 1 pin, and that's $109 currently as of November 2017. The medium spear shader 18M, let's see if that shows better there. The small round skew and the medium ball tip were all also sent to me by Pat to test out. The 4 pins I have is the round skew, the medium ball tip, the 18 medium spear point shader, and the number 17 coarse hair / fur tip. All of the pins are fixed pins. In fact, you cannot get interchangeable pins from Optima, and I appreciate that. All the tips come polished, so you don't have to worry about polishing the tips. They automatically come that way. They all come with 1 set of foam on it. You can pay an extra $1 and get the pin fully foamed. And unless you are doing gourds or very hard wood, unless you're burning those, I haven't felt the need to have all the pins have this extra foam. That's definitely a personal choice. The pins are very thin but durable. I haven't had a problem with them getting very hot. Granted, I tend to not burn, at least thus far I haven't burned over a 5 with this burner, and I've been able to burn longer with these pins. They're comfortable, my hands don't go numb. I've gone from being able to burn for 45 minutes max with other burners to an hour and a half with this burner. It does have, it goes up to 10 like all the burners do. It does have a low end heat adjustment on the bottom, which is this hole right here that accepts a small Phillips head screwdriver so that you can adjust the low end. And I did find in the first part of when I was recording that I am going to have to adjust this because the burning on 1, which is all the tips right here, with the heat setting at 1 and the pin heating up for a minute in this area right here, the burn should be a little darker. And this may not be an issue of the burner. It could be the electricity coming into my studio, but either way I do have to adjust that to get it a little bit darker. On this board I also tested how long each of the tips that I have, the pins that I have, took to heat up. For a level 3 setting, it took approximately 27 seconds for all of these tips, which is, this one is the ball tip, the skew, the shader, and the coarse hair. For level 6 heat setting, it took 10 seconds to heat up. It should heat up quicker the higher the number. It has a perfect dark burn at 6. I really don't see a reason to heat up any higher than that. That's a perfect burn for dark. On the 10 setting, which is all these, it took 5 seconds, and the tip for all the pins went cherry red, very bright. I still didn't have a problem with the pins really heating up. Granted, I would not burn on a 10 for any length of time. All pins, all wood burner pins heat up. Every single one of them. Some heat up more than others. I found that the Optima stayed very cool in the overall scheme of things. I also tested to see if where the pins connect to the cord, right here in this area, if that heated up. I didn't have a problem with that heating up either. Are the holders for the pins. I actually really like these. I can open it and drop the pin in with one hand. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to open. It is plastic. They do not come affixed to the burner. They come in a side package, plastic envelope type thing, and you attach them yourself. If you get the burner, I suggest that you actually turn them so that the pin would actually be seated this way, and that way it keeps the cords from dangling in front of your controls. They're very easy to drop in and take out, and I very much like that. In fact, I find them to be the most sturdy pin holders. And the tape, the burner doesn't heat up, so that it doesn't melt the tape, and I really like it. The case is plastic. It has stayed cool for me. It's very easy to turn on and off. There's only one toggle switch. Off is in the middle, and it kind of threw me off in the beginning because I'm not used to this. So if you want the right pin, you toggle to the right. Center is off, and then toggle to the left for the left pin. I did want to mention that Pat from PJL Enterprises, who actually makes the Optima, physically makes the Optima, did loan this to me. The only thing I have purchased thus far is the Coarse hair pin. The 3 other pins and the burner and cords are on loan, but I will be going ahead and purchasing this burner. I do overall like it very much. I don't have too much other than the low heat setting to, really have an issue with, but that is fixable, and that may not be the burner's fault. So I do want to keep iterating that. The setting may not be the burner's fault. So the cool thing that I found, well, at first it really startled me because I've never had this happen, and it could be the wood, though it's just birch that I burn on all the time. But I had the coarse hair pin set on 10, which is where it's at now. It only will take 5 seconds really to heat up. It's already red. But this is what startled me. Let's see if it does it again. Whew. I've never had a pin do this. Granted, in general, I don't burn ever on a 10. but I did want to share. Let's see, I'll do a better angle. I don't want to keep the tip at this heat because I don't want to bend it. But yeah, at 10, it gets hot. I do have some information from an email from Pat so that I could give a little more technical specs on it. As I kind of go through this, I'm going to have a video probably pop up here that is going to show the different pieces that I've worked on with these pins. That way you can see them in action. You may have already seen them in videos. So this is just a quick reminder of what they look like at work while I'm going through the specs. Pat did say that he rates the Optima 1 single and dual output power supplies at a nominal 40 watts, or what he likes to call true 40 watts. Now to some that may not sound very powerful and even underpowered, especially when you hear about the supposed so-called 130 watt burners being advertised. Let's just say I like to be honest and be able to sleep at night. And he goes on in the email explaining to me, and because I don't put burners together, I wouldn't necessarily know this information. But ultimately, all the burners that are rated high on the wattage, when you see that, that is not their true wattage. If I remember right, the Burn Master Eagle is right around 130 watts, if not higher, that they claim, but that is just the electricity coming from the wall to the power supply. It is not the actual output on your tip. From the power supply, from the wall to the power supply, you lose wattage, and then from the power supply inside the box to your pin, you lose even more wattage. So when Pat says it's a true 40 watt, what he's saying is the pins, by the time all the conversions happen and choke points happen and thermal runaway happen. Yes, I've learned a lot of big words lately. By the time all those happen, you're looking at maybe 40 watts for any of the burners. I found that this burner is just as strong as the 4 other that I have. In fact, from all my tests, is actually stronger than the razor tip. The Optima uses not the 1/4 inch mono jack, but RCA jacks. Pat says that this is the best way to connect your pin to the cord. So these are RCA jacks, not the 1/4 inch mono jacks. The fixed tips are soldered in with jeweler's silver. It is the strongest silver you can use. As far as he knows, none of the other burners use this jeweler's silver to fix the tips in. It means they last longer, conduct heat more evenly, and are stronger structurally. As for the warranty on not only the burner but the pins as well, you will see that from different companies, the different burners. For the Optima, it is lifetime parts and labor against manufacturer defects on the power supply, pin cords, and pin bodies. And he also does any kind of fixes that need to be done. If that happens in the future, you would just send it back to Pat and he'd fix it up for you. But it is the best warranty out on the market. I think in general 2 years is the highest you're going to get with Colwood. This is lifetime. The tips are sharpened well. Hopefully you can see that. let's see, maybe if I do this, you can see it better. The skew is very thin, and how he polishes and anneals the tips. I have not had a problem with carbon buildup. In fact, none of these tips have been cleaned. And what you're seeing here on this tip, that is because I did burn at a 10 with all the pins to test them out. So that's just a little bit of discoloration from that 10 setting. It'll easily polish out with aluminum oxide and a strop. So I'm not even worried about it. It's still nice and smooth. There's no burrs on it. And that makes it easier to burn. It really glides over the wood. I measured, well, I didn't get an official number, but I set up all of the pins that I have from the 5 different burners just to see who had the longest and shortest pins. Optima comes in at the longest pin, followed by Razor Tip. Nibs Burner and Burnmaster are close to each other, and Coalwood is the smallest pin, but it's not by much. So if the Optima is the longest and Coalwood is the shortest, and I'm just trying to get the tops even. It's not by much. The pins are well balanced. I'm not getting a lot of hand fatigue with them. I did test, and Coalwood does accept these pins and does heat them up. In fact, this is the Optima plugged into the Coalwood, set at a 4. All of these are 4 settings. The Razor Tip at a 4 with the Optima, and I had to use the Optima cord with the Razor Tip in order for it to fit. This is the Coalwood at a 4, same exact setting. This is the Burnmaster Eagle at the exact same setting with the Optima plugged in. And I could use the Optima pin on the Coalwood cord. I didn't have to use the Optima cord. And this is the Optima itself on a 4. I think out of all of them, Optima produces, of course, with its own pins, the best 4, but it is doable on the Coalwood. You just have to adjust down. Razor Tip does not have quite the power, and so you can see that in its 4 setting. I had also, this is the Coalwood on 4. This is the Burnmaster Eagle. What I did was I tried Coalwood pin on the Optima at a 4. This is the Burnmaster pin at a 4 on the Optima. This is the Razor Tip fixed tip. So the Razor Tip pins do, if you use the Razor Tip cord, which does not connect very smoothly, it's loose, and so I wouldn't recommend doing it. But that is the 4 with the Razor Tip spoon shader and Razor Tip cord on the Optima, and this is the Cool Touch Nibs Burner on the Optima. The Coalwood gives you the most even burn between the two, and we will go into that more when I do a updated version of what wood burner to buy, which I'm hoping to get that out soon. Overall, this is a very well built machine. I'm happy with this wood burner. Again, I am going to adjust the low end setting. I need to talk to Pat on the best way to, or not so much the best way to do it. I haven't adjusted any of my burners because once you adjust them, it's hard to get them back. So I'm going to have to mark the screwdriver and mark the bottom of the burner And anyway, do all that. But the low end for me in my studio is really low. I mean, that's a 1, and there should be some burning there. There you go. I mean, that's the 10, and that's the 1. That's 3, and that's 6, and that's the 4. I haven't used this burner over a 5 on any of my projects, so I'm not worried about the high-end heat. I don't burn hardwoods or gourds, but it's there if you need it. It does give you that range. The single burner is the exact same setup and power as the dual. The only difference between the two is having the extra jack and the toggle switch to use that extra, the second jack and holder. That is the only difference. I will have the link down to the Optima in the description. These are actually the pins that I'm going to buy. All of the 3 other pins. I'm also going to invest, because this is the medium ball tip, I am going to invest in the small and large, because I like my ball tips. So I will be picking those up. Hopefully those kind of easier to see somewhere. So I will be picking up more of those. I will be buying this burner, and I highly recommend that you take a look at it, compare it. The Colwood has a little less nuance between 0 and 2, but this one has, like I said, has to be adjusted as well. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully this review has helped you take one more step in your burning adventure and give you a better idea of the Optima burner. If you're new here, please click the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I go live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Arizona time, or upload a new video. Also, please make sure to hit the like button and leave a comment. I appreciate you spending time with me. Happy burning, guys. Bye.